Hi everybody, welcome to the first video from Bad Lip Service. I know what you're thinking. Why is this man talking at me from in his bed? Why do his lips not appear to be moving in time with the audio? When did they commission a really bad reboot of Warzone Gummidge? Well, I can answer all of those questions. Well, maybe not the last one so much. For those of you who don't know him, the man you see before you is Z. The voice you hear isn't. Z's voice doesn't work consistently due to mental health issues, but his ability to write rants about whatever's on his mind has remained. His ability to have overpronounced facial features has remained. Pretty much everything has remained, barring his willingness to get a haircut and shave. But Z needs a voice, and that's what for fuck's sake.
So I am confusion.
At some point, I will work out who is who and who isn't. But that's where this voiceover comes in. My idea is that through a variety of friendly voices, these barely coherent ramblings can be heard even when he can't. As for why he's in bed, he's pretty much always in bed. The universe has turned him into the ultimate catch by bestowing him with both physical and mental problems. And as a result, pretty much the only time you'll see him out of bed is if he's topping up his nicotine intake at the front door. One of the few benefits of COVID-19 has been that whereas before he knew he was being ignored on dating apps, now he can choose to believe that it's simply because he comes from a nation of lockdown-abiding citizens.
Right, people, listen up. It's a fucking lockdown.
And nothing to do with the fact that he looks like an unkept Peter Stringfellow. And that's Peter Stringfellow now, having been dead for 2 years. A lot has been made of the well-being of those with both physical and mental health issues during this pandemic. But as usual, most of the comments have been from those who are neither physically or mentally handicapped. Although, the latter is questionable given the state of some of the prominent public figures right now. The fact of the matter is that Z isn't the only one to have lost his voice while this is going on. The issue is that with the mouthpieces who are speaking up to represent people like him seem to come from one of two equally unhelpful camps. The one side is the ones that say that mental well-being especially should be factored in before almost anything else, to anything by anyone. Anything that might result in the slightest decrease to mental health or anatomy or anything of the ilk is immediately a terrible thing. The other is the ardent one-size-fits-all droning on of those who can't see why anyone's personal or individual circumstances should be taken into account when dealing with this horrible illness.
Has the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
It may surprise you to learn that Z thinks both are full of shit and should kindly fuck off back from whence they came. The fact is that vulnerable people are being severely impacted during this pandemic. Services are either being discontinued or charged into other services which don't allow for individuals to have their serious or social needs met. That says significant, but I can't read. Z speaks from experience with mental health facilities wanting to move to telephone appointments. You can imagine his feelings on that.
I'd rather shit in my hands and clap.
And physical health facilities moving to urgent appointments only, meaning those with conditions who are prone to fluctuation, but not urgently, are so left by the wayside. Add into this fact that the general well-being of loneliness and isolation can be magnified for those who, believe it or not, actually view medical appointments as something to do, and you end up with a situation where people can find their underlying issues are actually increasing in significance.
Life. Don't talk to me about life.
The flip side is that however we might like it to, COVID-19 is an indiscriminatory virus and can honestly give the south side of the fuck what the individual feelings on these are of any of us. To start applying individual conditions on social matters runs the risk of people of questionable motives taking advantage of the situation. It's horrible that such a notion has to be considered, but there are unfortunately some grade A fuck knuckles in all situations. So what's the solution? Well, to me, the first thing is that where possible, and I mean actually where possible, not people using impossibility as a lame excuse, health services need to be continued for those who are vulnerable, both physically and mentally, to allow them a degree of continuity within life, which in turn will stop people putting more of a burden on services when something goes wrong. This requires a degree of honesty from both of those in charge and those who need to support them. The second thing, which really ought to apply to society genuinely, which is to stop seeking to inflict a totalitarian black or white judgment on everything.
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong.
The fact is that those on both sides insisting on sticking to outer climbs of this debate, and others make it easier for sensible compromise to fail to be reached.
Stupid. A man comes into my life and I have to compromise?
There is no correct answer, and if there is one, it certainly does not exist at either pole. That is all we have decided to say on that matter, but this will be far from what the last video made on this channel. They won't all be about all the things of social importance either though. Expect rants about sport, television, food, and just about anything that takes Z's interest. But for now, he's been Z, and he's been Michael from the fiery dips of hell who can't read.
So thank God that's over. I mean, it's over, right?